Easing Humanity's Evolutionary Transition. And that one, I had a radio show for 2.5 years. In 2011, Voice America asked me to do a show around the Mayan galactic alignment for December 21st, 2012. And I was like, what? I'm not doing anything in my business with this. Why would you ask me to do that? I mean, I was taking private VIP clients to the Mayan ruins in the Yucatan on private retreats, but that wasn't public facing.
Right.
So it was interesting that they came in, and so I listened to my guidance and then said yes 48 hours later, and had that and interviewed specialists, not only for my first book, but also around this alignment. And in the yogic culture, Yogi Bhajan they call it yugas, eras are yugas, and 2012 is the marker of an end of one yuga and the beginning of a new one. Astrologers too. The Piscean age ended in 2012, and we've been moving into the Aquarian age. So it's not just the Mayans, apparently, who understood that 2012 was a marker of the end of one era. So fast forward 2019, I'm down in Mexico at ruins outside of Mexico City that's originally Mayan, but then was taken over by the Aztecs. And we hired a native guide, and this is now 7 years later, and I'm asking him, what's your understanding of the old era versus this new one? And he said, well, the old era is one of destruction. The new one is one of construction. So I write about that in my second book, Vibrational Upgraded Conspiracy for Your Bliss. And that's the book I really go into detail about the chakra system and how our bodies are, every chakra, it is an intersection of the mind, the body, and the spirit. And our systems are designed for bliss, as long as we don't muck it up.
Yeah, big if, right? Exactly.
And so the fourth one, do you want me to talk about that after Reasonable Drag?
Well, there's one more coming out, and I think we ought to do another interview to talk about that one, I think, because we've come really to the end of our time. So let's save that for next time. Stay tuned, everyone, because our friend Alison is going to be back. Now, your websites are AlisonJK.com, but you also have vibrationalupgrade.com.
Yeah, both will get you to my website. And my Alison's with one L, Alison, middle initial J, and then my last name is Kay. So if you go on Amazon for my books too, you got to use my middle initial J. There's another Alison Kay on there, and she does not write about what I write about.
It would be, that would be kind of a shock. Well, that's all right. I think that's wonderful. I am so glad you were here. I can hardly wait to read your next book. I have to say, everybody, I don't think I've ever enjoyed a guest's book more than I enjoyed this one. I kept nodding. I kept saying yes. I kept waiting for her to screw up, and she never did. She really never did. She knew exactly what she was talking about. You say that, what was this great thing you said? You said that you are a detective figuring out the universe's clues. And if I were going to describe my life, that's exactly probably what I would say. That's why my webcast is called Seek Reality, because that's all we're doing. We are trying to understand what's really true, and not what someone believes, not what some religion says. Yep. And so that's why I think I resonated so much with your book. We're doing the same work. Bless you, dear.
Yeah, likewise, Roberta. This has been just lovely, your enthusiasm and your reception. And yes, more please.
Well, we're going to do this again. But everybody, meanwhile, we've come to the end of our time. This has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. And I'm so glad you were here to enjoy this with Alison and me. Please never forget that you are a powerful, eternal being. You never began. You never will end. And when you get what that means, it changes everything in your life for the better. Now, next week, we have another treat for you. Cyrus Kirkpatrick will be here for the 6th time. Cyrus the Explorer is a brilliant young man. He's only early 30s, believe it or not, and he's already lived several lifetimes. He's one of a kind. He is an epic and fearless astral traveler, and he's a traveler of the world as well. And for those who are unclear on the geography, most of reality is what we now call the astral plane. It's much bigger than the material universe. And a tiny little part of it is our afterlife, but most of it is really, you talk about the Wild West, this is a tremendous Wild West, where all of us go many, many nights. We all go out of our bodies every night, but many of us will spend a lot of time in the astral and travel, and we have no idea what we've been up to when we come back into our bodies at 2 a.m, which is why you wake up then, by the way. You think it was a dream. It was coming back into your body. It shocks your body awake. I know a lot about the astral. I've talked with people like Cyrus. I've read the trilogy that was written by the late, great Bob Monroe. And I know actually only enough about it to be dangerous. But Cyrus Kirkpatrick is one of the world's leading experts on the astral plane and a lot of other things. And we're going to have fun catching up with him next week. And we're in for a wild ride. That just come prepared with your seatbelt on. This week we've been talking with the wonderful Dr. Alison Kay. She is an experienced practitioner, as you can see, of all the various kinds of ways to help people live their own best lives. I don't talk about chakras. There's a lot of stuff she does I don't talk about, but she understands this stuff, and it is a real thing. I want you to know it's a real thing. It's just that I've tried to keep it simple. We're teaching different people at different with different needs and at different levels, but we're teaching exactly the same thing. This book that we've been talking about today is called Reasonable Dragons, How to Activate the Field of Possibilities, Where Logical Magic is the New Normal. And I loved it. I enjoyed it. And it's short. Unlike that first book, which is 400 pages, this is like 150 pages soaking wet. It's not very long, but it is really full of meat. And I think if you read it and if you know something about the work I do, you'll see that it's the same thing, just from a different direction. What greater proof could you have than that this really is true? What Alison and I are working on from different directions is true, and you can use it to live your own best life forevermore. It's because it's such a short book and it's so entertaining and so true. I think everybody should have it on their shelf. Again, it's called Reasonable Dragons by Dr. Alison Kay. And we've come to the end of our time. We actually have no time left. So I'll just say it's been wonderful having you here today. This has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Please enjoy, please make the most of this coming week in our one reality, knowing that you are a powerful, eternal being, and you, most of all in the entire universe, you are infinitely loved.
You've been listening to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Roberta blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Join us every week as we explore what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about the one reality we all share. Knowing the truth changes everything.